Have you ever thought about how we enter Shabbat or any other holiday? When you think about it, for many of us, that involves preparing for the holiday, decorating our house, making our favorite dish, maybe even inviting some people over. And this week's Parsha, Parshat Emor, contains a discussion of holidays and an instruction exactly for how we are supposed to observe them. Rabbinic literature is also full of ideas for how we are to observe the holiday and enter into it even with festivities, with a right kavanah, with that correct intention. In fact, 6 of the 7 holidays mentioned in the Torah are referenced in this chapter 23 in Leviticus. They open and close, and those verses in many cases are included in the liturgy, in case you're curious what is described there. Well, it begins with, of course, a designation for when we celebrate the holiday, and rabbinic literature enters into a conversation of how we celebrate the holiday. The problem is that sometimes we're not exactly in the mood to celebrate the holiday. We make plans, and we intend to have a specific celebration, and it doesn't quite work out that way. We make a list, checking off naughty or nice. Oh wait, wrong holiday season. But we do make a list, making sure that certain things appear on it, and making sure that everything is just right. And that doesn't always work out. I recently came across a poem called Welcome to Holland. In this case, it's about being a parent for disabled or differently abled children. But I think the idea, just as it does for this poem, fits into our life. We think we're going to go to one thing. In this case, Holland. Italy, in the poem. We end up in Holland. And it goes like this. When you're going to have a baby, it's like planning for a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks and make wonderful plans. The Colosseum, you're going to check out. The Michelangelo David, the gondolas in Venice. You may learn some handy Italian phrases. It's all very exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives. You pack your bags and off you go. Several hours later, the plane lands. The flight attendant comes on board and says, "Welcome to Holland." Holland, you say. What do you mean, Holland? I signed up for Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy. I've dreamed of going to Italy my whole life. But there's been a change in the flight plan. They've landed in Holland, and there you must stay. The important thing is that they haven't taken you to some horrible, disgusting, filthy place, full of pestilence, famine, and disease. It's just a different place. So you must go out and buy a new guidebook, and you must learn a whole new language, and you will meet a whole new group of people you never would have otherwise met. It's just a different place. It's a slower paced place than Italy, less flashy than Italy. But after you've been there for a while and you catch your breath and you look around and you begin to notice that Holland has windmills, and Holland has tulips, and Holland has Rembrandts. But everyone you know is busy going and coming from Italy. And they're all bragging about what a wonderful time they had there. And for the rest of your life, you will say, yes, that's where I was supposed to go. That's what I planned for. And the pain of that will never, ever, ever, ever go away. Because the loss of that dream is a very significant loss. But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't go to Italy, you may never be able to enjoy the very special, lovely things about Holland. The truth is that there are times when we really want to be in Italy. We have plans for Italy. Our career tells us we're heading to Italy. Our family, we've got this whole excitement going on, but we end up in Holland. So when that happens, how are we even supposed to embrace what's next to come? Well, there's a Mishnah for that, in case you're curious. The authors of such thought about what would happen when it's a pilgrimage festival, and yet you're still obligated to celebrate it. You still have to participate in the community. Maybe though you've separated yourself from the community for some reason. In fact, they came up with 3 specific reasons that you would separate yourself from the community. And if you can imagine, they even came up with a script for what to say. Shocking that the rabbis were so specific. Most people you see enter, when they come into the temple, they enter from the right-hand door, except if you've separated yourself out. And then you enter from the left side. So who would enter from the left side, you might ask? Well, it could be someone who experiences a hardship in their life, including somebody in mourning, a person who has been shunned by their family or community, the caregiver of an ill family member, or one who has been preoccupied because of the loss of an important object. And I'm sure all of us can identify with somebody at some point in our life on that list. The passage goes on, and it's very specific about what to say when you see somebody circling in from the left. You're supposed to ask, why are you circling in from the left? And the person responds, because I'm in mourning. One should offer the prayer, may the one who dwells in this house comfort you. When we encounter another person with an ill family member, the rabbis script a prayer for that as well. May the one who dwells in this house have compassion upon your relatives. Perhaps surprising when somebody enters from Nadui, a form of excommunication in which someone was shunned by their family or community. The rabbis even offer a blessing for that, of course, after much rabbinic debate. May the one who dwells in this house grant in their hearts of your family or community members be able to draw near to you. The underpinning of this Mishnah, of course, is the ultimate goal: human engagement, human interaction during difficult times. The person moving to the right who is not experiencing the hardship is not instructed to label the person from the left. Instead, they're taught to open with a why question, a curious mind, to recognize the person from the left is coming to the destination of Jerusalem from a plane from Holland, while everybody on the right coming from Italy. When looking at life today, we love to label things. We label somebody with an illness right away. Sometimes even therapists are specifically taught to label someone just to make sure that an insurance company will pay the bill. We label ourselves as broken or our children as broken. In fact, there's even a statement in our prayer book. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. We label ourselves as a failure by not having certain things. Perhaps we should follow the lead of the Mishnah, that when we see somebody coming in from Holland, we grant them compassion, a presence, a kind shoulder. We build relationship with them. We honor the sacred in them and ourselves. I think it had to be scripted because sometimes when you face somebody who's coming from an unknown land that's different than yours, it could be scary. We may not know exactly what to say. And so the rabbis knew that might happen and gave us the words. After all, they understood what we don't want to accept ourselves, that from any moment at any aspect of our life, we may be coming in from Holland, even though we planned on Italy the whole time. We may have to struggle, but don't worry, you might end up coming from Italy periodically just to be with others. After all, both places have exciting things. Holland has tulips, And there's all sorts of floral wines and excitement in Italy. Holland's got Rembrandts. Italy has art. Both places have good gifts. So let's allow those gifts to shine and sparkle. Not label, not project. Just be with one another. Shabbat Shalom.